Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be some news coming out today that Diablo is now available on GOG.com, which stands for Good Old Games, otherwise referred to as GOG. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so yeah, if you are not familiar with GOG.com, it's a site that kind of has a bunch of games available, usually older games, and kind of optimizes them to run on current PC systems. So Blizzard is actually porting Diablo to this GOG.com, and it's available for $10 USD to purchase and be able to play on your modern PC. I actually have a video that I did a while back about how to play Diablo and its expansion pack Hellfire that I've had a lot of people use and message me about and take advantage of, because Diablo and Hellfire were actually abandonware. Blizzard was not pursuing copyright arguments for people that were pirating the game, so it was basically free to use and just download and play. But I wonder if that's going to change now that, I don't know if there's some sort of contract here with GOG where maybe now all of a sudden Diablo 1 isn't abandonware. I was kind of hoping that Diablo would come to the Blizzard Battle.net app under like classic games and be available that way, because it looks like with this current version there is no Hellfire. So Hellfire is the expansion pack for Diablo 1, but it looks like this is just going to be the basic Diablo vanilla game. And then I'll have a link to this this site where you can buy the game and kind of read this all for yourself. But yeah, there's nothing really too crazy to go over. It's you know, obviously the system requirements, you're gonna have those. It's kind of hilarious to look at those and what it was back in 1996 when Diablo 1 came out. But yeah, real quickly, I'll just go over the FAQ segment that Blizzard had where they posted this news, and it's gonna say that Diablo is available in English only. This is kind of basic stuff. Why are there two versions of the game? Diablo available as its original unchanged Battle.net compatible version. So that's like if you want to be able to log on Battle.net, you're going to need to get the unchanged version. There is also a GOG enhanced version. What is the difference between those two versions? It looks like the original is completely unchanged, and the GOG enhanced version is going to include minor audio fixes, upscaling support for resolution and refresh rate control, plus compatibility fixes, but you will only be able to play the game with other people via LAN or P2P. So kind of going to have to weigh your options there. It looks like if you're going to be playing by yourself only, you might as well go with the enhanced version. But if you're going to want to log on Battle.net and maybe play with one of your friends that lives far away or something, then go with the original version. Is GOG Galaxy client required? It looks like they recommend that, but it's not required. System requirements are going to be null and void for the most part, I would assume. It looks, and then yeah, this is what I was disappointed about. Will Diablo be available on the Battle.net app? It looks like not, so they're only going to be porting it here. And then this is the big killer to me: is Diablo Hellfire coming to the GOG release of Diablo, and they say they have no plans for that at this time. It doesn't flat out say no, it's never going to happen, but it basically does. It says we have no plans to ever do that at this time. So I think that's a big killer to this news. You know, that Diablo Hellfire has always been weird because Diablo Hellfire was made by Sierra. It wasn't even really done by Blizzard Studios back then. It was kind of a third-party deal that was like contracted out, but then I believe Blizzard ended up acquiring Sierra and kind of absorbing it under their umbrella. So, but Hellfire has always had kind of a wonky connection with Diablo. It's not just a simple straight expansion like Reaper of Souls is to Diablo 3. It's always been a little bit weird. So that is very disappointing, because Hellfire, if you're not familiar with Diablo 3, or I mean Diablo 1, sorry, I'm so used to saying Diablo 3. If you're not familiar, Hellfire added things like the ability to run in town, so your trips to and from town went a lot smoother. The blacksmith sold like 18 items instead of 6, and there was, you know, some new spells. I think there was a new class. Like, didn't they add like the monk or something? Or it's been so many years since I've like played Diablo without playing Hellfire. There was a new act, or like, you know, new dungeons. There was like the Hive and the Crypt, and a few new quests. But yeah, so disappointing that Hellfire isn't supported, but it's still going to be a fun game for you to check out for old time's sake. Is Diablo 2 coming to GOG? Looks like it's saying no because we already have it in the digital Battle.net shop. Any other Blizzard games coming to GOG? Yes, we have announced we're partnering with GOG, so that's actually cool. I'm reading that for the first time here. To release Warcraft Orcs and Humans, which is Warcraft 1 and Warcraft 2. Okay, so that's really cool. Looks like Warcraft 1 and Warcraft 2 are both going to be coming to GOG, just like Diablo Original is. So yeah, that's cool. Yeah, if you have any questions, drop it down in the comments. But before I end the video, I'm just going to kind of give a quick rundown of what Diablo 1 was exactly, just for people who aren't familiar with it, or, you know, weren't familiar with the Diablo lore and series back then. Diablo is what kickstarted it all. It was released in 1996, I believe, and it was a big-time game changer in the gaming industry. It was either the first or one of the first to have like a randomized dungeon progression system where you like go to a new level and it's random every time you visit it, and every time you make a new game, the mobs kind of reset and respawn, and the dungeon is random every time, randomly generated, with like a RPG loot grind type of game style. So it was very revolutionary for its time. If you're playing the Diablo original, you're going to have your choice between 3 classes. You're going to have your warrior, which is like your sword and board, hack and slash type class. You're going to have your rogue, which is your archer. It's going to be your long-ranged DPS damage dealer. Then you're also going to have your mage, or it's called a sorcerer. You're going to have a sorcerer, which is your spellcaster, who likes to stay back at range and take advantage of mana casting abilities to pump out damage and stay alive. In my opinion, the strongest class in Diablo 1 was the sorcerer. When played properly, it had the highest skill ceiling and highest ability because of Mana Shield. Mana Shield was one of the most broken abilities in Diablo 1. What it did was it made your entire mana pool your hit points pool. So you had not only your normal hit points, but you also had your mana as hit points. So when you cast Mana Shield and you took damage, it would deduct from your mana instead of your health. And the sorcerer always had a ton of mana, so that was a really good ability for them. And then the spell casting, once you kind of scaled and got your spells to a high level and got a lot of mana, you were just so powerful. And it's a lot different than Diablo 3. Your mana doesn't automatically regenerate at all, like ever. Like when you use mana, the only way to recharge it is to use a potion or level up or use like a staff of mana recharge. It's not going to regenerate at all. But you have so much gold, you can just have a ton of mana potions and pump out spells. So that's why the sorcerer had the highest skill ceiling and it was really good. And then, you know, the warrior and the rogue are both, you know, they are what they are. They, you know, they fill their roles and they can do fine as well if you play them properly. But yeah, so let me know what you think about this down in the comments. If you're excited to give this a try, or if it's been a few years since you've played this, or if you've never played it, you know, I'd love to interact with you and see what you think about it. So yeah, as always, have a good rest of your day. Hope you're enjoying Season 16 on Diablo 3, and have a good rest of your day. Peace.